30th win of the season, 9th Pac-12 win of the years. We take a look at the Washington lineup and a couple of changes. First time we're going to see Silent Rain Espinoza and Kaya Gibson this weekend for the Dogs.
Yeah, and that's what depth gives you, the opportunity to use different options and move people around, that versatility.
And our second time this weekend seeing the senior for the Stanford Cardinal came on in relief of Tatum Boyd in game 1 and looked really good yesterday. It is Maddie Dwyer.
And she kept the bats fairly quiet, at least in terms of UW turns. Not surprised to see her get an opportunity today.
Yeah, not at all. 4 1/3 innings of relief for Dwyer yesterday. Gave up just 1 run on 4 hits. Walked 1, struck out 1, and hit 1 dog by a pitch. So Sis Bates, as she always does, leading off for the Dogs here in game number 3 of the weekend. It's been a rather quiet weekend offensively for Sis. Just 1 hit so far through our first 2 games. And in there, strike 1. Picked up the 309th hit of her career back in the opener yesterday as she moves ever closer to becoming the all-time career leader in hits at Washington. I think she's got a pretty good shot of it, Jenna. Pops that one up and out of play.
Definitely enough season left. I mean, this is the end of Pac-12 here this weekend, but you got postseason, which if everything goes to what it seems like we think it will go to, Washington gonna make a deep run again, so plenty of at-bats for her to get it done.
Yeah, we'll be hosting a regional. Heather Tarr was very much looking forward to playing a few more games at home, and when we talked to her a couple of days ago, said hopefully we're hosting a couple more series here on Montlake, and that's our hope too. Head coach Heather Tarr, their 16th season at the alma mater. Bates down 3rd. Inoue makes it 1 out. So Christina Inoue, where she always is, over at 3rd for the Cardinal. Emily Young beside her at short. Sydney Huff, Eleni Sparakis, the big power bats in game number 1 over at first. Schultz Gittelsberger, Tegan Cowles across the outfield, and Montana Dixon. Man, she's in the squad again. Okay, Montana, I see you. Putting down the signs for Maddie Dwyer.
Talk about stamina.
That's a lot. That's a lot of squatting. Bailey Klingler, best looking bat for Washington in our first game today. 2 for 3 with a double off the center field wall. Klingler pops that one up. Dwyer calling for it. And then Inoue will call her off. 2 down.
That's a good example of priorities at work as a defense. You know, that ball was hit really high in the air. But if you can, the corners want to take over from the pitcher. They have a better angle, better visibility on those kinds of hits, especially the third baseman. So it's a good job by Christina Inoue to take control.
And now the catcher for the Dogs, Morgan Flores. Couple of hits in our first 2 games. The big one in the opener. 2-run single that helped Washington take game 1 yesterday, 4-0. Flores playing first in this one. She's going to let Dixon do the back-to-back catching duties. I appreciate that for the 6th-year senior. So Emma Helm will be catching for Washington in this one.
Yeah, maybe trade in the squat for just an athletic stance out there instead.
There you go.
Take a break.
Yeah. Morgan tied for 3rd in Washington history in home runs. Got 58 in her career. That was a home run swing. Pops it up. Will it stay in play? It's gotten really windy here the last about 20 minutes. Jenny, you should have had that one.
I know, I should have. So close.
Bounced up towards us here in the COVID broadcast booth, which is out of the broadcast booth here on the farm right now. So good start from Dwyer. Let's see if she can close things out here, top of the first. And just misses ball 3.
We've seen it a little bit already, but Dwyer does have that rise ball. That's how she's getting those pop-ups that we've seen so far. Something that she wants to make sure that she keeps it out of the zone to the Dogs, because if you get on playing with something like that, it can get out in a hurry.
3-1 to Flores. catches the outside corner, strike 2.
Solid framing there by Montana Dixon.
And I think we're going to enjoy having Fred Barker call our balls and strikes. Very enthusiastic call back there. Here's the 3-2 from Dwyer. Flores down the right field line. Tegan Cowles just not able to get to it.
Gotta love the effort, just a little bit too wide. Just a foot or so past her glove. But one thing that Tegan Cowles always has is effort.
Yeah. And all of our outfielders, really, for both teams, have a good bit of speed, too. So wouldn't have been surprised if Tegan got to that. Instead, Flores will get another go. Flores this time down the left field line. This one's going to be up and out of play. Onto the roof again. Seen a couple of those this weekend.
Fans are getting treated to a lot of foul balls right now.
Do they get to keep them?
They don't.
Okay, I wondered about that.
It's so sad for the little kids who have to give them back.
And Flores will take the walk. Makes sense, though. Collegiate athletics, got to save money.
Yes. Now COVID, it makes it totally different, but even before that.
Yeah, good point. So there's Fred behind home plate. Jerry McGuire down at first. Jim Bertuzzi at second. Brandon Bloom down at third. Morgan Flores now on for the cleanup hitter, Sammy Reynolds. Quiet weekend for Sammy so far, too. Still looking for her first hits. Take strike 1. Snohomish, Washington native. A difference maker since the start of her freshman season. Now a junior for the Dogs. That's that one back into the netting.
And this being the second time that this offense has seen Dwyer, they'll have some of that familiarity that Stanford had with Gabby Plain last game earlier today. So you have the ideas of, hey, this is what I need to adjust with. This is what she throws. You can familiarize yourself and be even more prepared.
The 0-2 to around the circle. We've seen her over at first for the first couple of games, but we know she's a two-way player, and that's Kelly Lynch.
Gabby Plain has shouldered by far the most innings for this pitching staff for Washington, pushing 200 at this point. But Kelly Lynch got over 50 innings pitched so far in this season. She hits for herself too, so you'll see that Emma Helm is actually the defensive-only player behind the plate today. Lynch a part of the lineup and can do it on both sides of the ball.
Sophomore out of Noonan, Georgia, number 27. In the circle, game 3 for the Dogs. Tegan Cowles, first pitch swinging, launches that one, just foul. Talking about how it's been kind of quiet first couple of games for Sis Bates, a couple of the big hitters, Sammy Reynolds for Washington. Been kind of quiet for Tegan so far, too.
Yeah, she had one of the hits last night in game 1 of this series, using her speed for the infield hit, as she does so well.
Misses outside, ball 1.
Cowles is one of those players who, no matter her age, she just wants to do whatever she can for the team. Like, I've seen her with the worst jobs, you know, rolling the pitching machine, doing all the things that you normally assign to freshmen.
Lynch catches the edge there, strike 2.
But Cowles just not too good for any of it.
So Lynch ahead on Tegan Cowles. Here's the 1-2. Nice job by Helm that time to get that one.
It's not too often you see lefty catchers. It's becoming slightly more normalized nowadays than it used to be back in the day, but lefty catcher's still a little bit of a rarity. And if you think about it, I mean, they can still throw down to second, right? The same way that, that a right-handed catcher could.
Yeah, but it is an oddity of sorts. Emma Helm, the senior out of Linwood, Washington. Now on the same page with Lynch and goes off speed. Strikeout number 1 for Kelly Lynch. And you know, the student athlete's not the only one doing the doubleheader today. How about our cameramen? Way to go, guys. Jeff, Ron, Gary, Tito. Hope you have the insoles in out there. That's a lot of staying in for all of you boys. Great work so far today. And yesterday, all series long. Just been sensational work by our crew here on the farm. Hope that all of you at home or wherever you're watching these games enjoying it too. We're so happy to be back here with you. Been a while since announcers have gotten to be on site too, so pretty fun to have the whole family back together. Here's Taylor Gindelsberger, had a big hit in game number 2. Set the table for Eleni Sparakis to go yard and give Stanford that 4-1 win.
That's the thing about Gindelsberger, too. She can really act as that sort of leadoff in these situations. You know, Tegan Cow is such a phenomenal leadoff hitter. Gets on base a ton. 395 on-base percentage coming into this today. But Gindelsberger, 390. You know, she can also be that table setter from that number 2 spot. And again, the versatility, bunting, hitting it deep, got the power, too. A lot of options with her in that spot.
So already a couple quick meetings between Helm and Lynch. You think they're just trying to get on the same page?
I think so. I saw Helm kind of practicing some throwdowns earlier, just trying to get in a rhythm here. It's already game 3, but it's game 1 for her.
And game 1 in the circle for Kelly Lynch. She follows up their meeting with the first strike, so 3-1 the count to Taylor Gindelsberger. And she'll take ball 4. So Gindelsberger could potentially be a table setter again like she was just about 30 minutes ago for Eleni Sparakis.
And that ball gets too much of the plate, and Eleni Sparakis knew it right away. The number 1 finger in the air, and she deserves it. What a clutch hit.
Senior weekend here on the farm, a local kid from nearby Saratoga. 30 RBI now and counting on the season. And going for more here, deep into left, off the wall. And they're sending Gindelsberger, and she's gonna score. 1-0 Stanford here in the first.
Kate, I think you called it. Gindelsberger, the table setter for Sparakis, couldn't have drawn it up better. And again, with that aggressive base running, the speed of Gindelsberger scoring all the way from first base. Just absolute laser. That is a frozen rope.
And I think we've seen the last couple of games why Eleni got into Stanford to get into the master's program, called up Coach Jessica Alliser and said, hey, Coach Al, can I maybe play some softball too? And Jessica smartly said yes. Trouble here, but smart base running by Sparakis to wait and hold until the ball went to first, and then she took off for third.
That's a great read. There's so many little things that go into base running in that situation. So Lynch, good job of looking at her, but not quite long enough on the throw. Sparakis capitalizes. Again, that aggressive base running defense got to be on it, ready for it at all times.
So Stanford coming off the 4-1 win in the first game today, looking for more here in game number 2 of our doubleheader.
And you said it, Kate, they like to score early, and when they do, historically speaking, they have pretty good success at the end of the day in that W or L column.
No doubt about that. 20-4 on the season when scoring first are the Stanford Cardinal. Got 2 runs in the second inning last game. Now a run in the first here. Emily Young, just foul. Young scored that first run, if memory serves correct.
She did. The Emily switched places. She was at second base, came in for Schultz.
There's the 1-2. Lynch trying to get out of this first inning with limited damage. Well done by Helm to keep that one from going into the netting. Although the backstop is pretty close here at Stanford, so it'll be hard for Sparakis to score on a pass ball.
Yeah, just have to read it off the net. Bounces off the net a little differently.
Young skies this one to short. Sis Bates is under it. And Lynch and the Dogs able to limit the damage, but not before Stanford gets on the board. On the board first. Now 47 runs they have scored in the first inning. Most runs they've scored in any inning all season long, so they like to get out to that quick start. Give their pitcher, Maddie Dwyer, in this game a bit of confidence out there in the circle as Noel He leads off for the Dogs. Strike one. He provided the one run for Washington just a little while ago with an RBI single in the 6th inning. That cut it to 2-1, so it could have been a very different ball game if not for that Sparakis home run.
Yeah, and the adjustment she made from her early at-bats was great.
Struck out here in 2 previous at-bats against Elena Vaughter. First time we saw Vaughter, so who knows what will happen in tomorrow's series finale, but I'd expect probably plain Vaughter take 2.
I think so.
Strike 2 on He.
And how fun would that be? Goes down to the last day, senior day, ace versus ace, trying to win the series.
And no pressure, coaches, but we'd like to make that happen tomorrow right here on the Pac-12 Network. 3 o'clock first pitch. We'd be okay with that. This is the non-conference game of the weekend as he swings and misses, and she's gone. Well, it has been a great season, and Stanford most definitely trending in the right direction as we take a look at this. Got 1 from Arizona State, 2 from the Ducks up in Eugene, and now 1 from Washington and counting this weekend here on the farm.
That's their conference schedule, right? Like, that's who they face every weekend. It's just so impressive.
So here is the pitcher for Washington. Doing it all for them in this game, Kelly Lynch. Swings and misses, strike 1.
Dwyer's in a really good rhythm right now so far, mixing on both sides of the plate really well. She's shown the rise ball a little bit, changing planes. She's got a good rhythm happening.
Senior, so competitive, not afraid of anyone, can you tell? That one outside, well done by Dixon to glove it. Ball 1.
You know, Vaughter's been the ace for the Cardinal, like we mentioned. Reagan Krause has been another weapon that Stanford has used in the circle, but Dwyer was such an important part of that 2019 turnaround season, her with Carolyn Lee.
Here's the 1-2. Popped up. Can Dixon get to it? And she will. Just inside the netting, 2 down.
That is such a hard play to execute on. You know, as a catcher, that ball's behind you. You don't even have time to throw the mask off to try to see better. You just got to react. You got to know your spatial awareness to the netting. I mean, such a great job by Dixon. Huge out.
And as I mentioned, it's got windy here between games. The wind definitely picked up. The temperature dropped as Silent Rain Espinoza, our first look at the junior from Alpine, California this weekend, swings and fouls that one back into the netting.
Now 63 degrees according to my Apple Watch, where that breeze makes it feel a little bit cooler.
I would say like 61, 59 and a half.
Wind chill factor, California style.
Yeah. Everyone Midwest and East Coast just rolling their eyes. Silent Rain down the left field line, foul. Although I think in those necks of the woods now, they're upset about the humidity that they have to deal with, right?
That's right.
Okay. For those of you who aren't familiar with California, maybe watching somewhere else in the country or the world, don't bring your summer clothes to the Bay Area without a winter jacket.
That's right.
Until, well, actually, just whenever you come here. And Espinoza swings and misses. A couple of Ks for Dwyer here in the second. Her Cardinal have a 1-0 lead. In Jill Smith Family Stadium with a Cardinal 20-9 on the season and looking for win number 21. Schultz down the right field line, fair ball. And Emily Schultz is digging for two, and she's going to head to third. And Emily Schultz has herself a leadoff triple.
We talk about having a two-base mentality as a base runner, but Stanford so often this season has had a three-base mentality. No hesitation around the base paths. Perfectly placed, goes all the way to the corner of the wall in the back. Gives her enough time to pick up Coach. She was sending her all the way.
After she popped up from that slide, Schultz and Coach Al had a nice little laugh. Only the third triple of the year for Schultz, who was the one who knocked in the first run in game one today. Got those long legs, right? So that's a long run for somebody as tall as Schultz.
Yeah, 6 feet. At one point earlier in the season, Stanford actually had more triples than doubles.
Talk to Coach Al about that. They're number 3 in the NCAA, now 19 triples and counting as Sydney Huff gets into that one, but it'll lay in foul down the right field line. And said, pretty aggressive when it comes to sending runners, and we mentioned in our earlier game, Tegan Cal set the career record for triples here at Stanford last season. And she said, well, it's because I'm just running through signs left and right. Giving Coach Al a hard time. Huff in the left, tough play off the glove of Sammy Reynolds, and Schultz will score. 2-0 Stanford here in the second.
The Cardinal just keep rolling. I mean, great effort there defensively out in left field. Schultz with a good read. Hits this ball well, shaded way towards the line, so it does end up falling, but there she goes, waiting for it just to make sure. You're at third base. I want to make sure I score here.
It says, okay, big smile and double high fives from Montana Dixon, who shows bunt. Ball gets away from Emma Helm, and Sydney Huff easily into third base. The aggressive nature of this Stanford squad continues here, understandably wanting to add on as many as they can.
They're putting pressure on the defense. Washington has such a solid defense. You take a look at this again. Just that slight bobble. No hesitation from the base runners. Gonna give them an extra 60 feet. And every 60 feet matters. You can score a lot more ways from third base than you can from second. The sac fly, wild pitch, pass ball. There are so many ways you can score when you're only 60 feet away.
And that will do it for Kelly Lynch as the right fielder for the first couple of games. Another one of the multi-talented dogs we've got out here this weekend. Sarah Willis coming in from right field. She'll be in the circle when we come back. Stanford with a 2-0 lead here in the second. Welcome back. Stanford, bottom of the second. Card already with a 2-0 lead. You see Sydney Huff down the third base line, and that is why we have a pitching change. So Sarah Willis, the right fielder, taking over now. First time seeing Sarah in the circle this weekend.
That's right. Another one who's been in the lineup, though, doing it offensively. Had a great showing in game one of this series. Some RBIs for her, but now we're getting a chance to see her in the circle.
And taking over for Willis in right field. Student athlete we've seen a couple of times as a pinch runner, Lily Egan. Willis comes out firing. I know that she's got that velo. Believe she can get close to 70 miles an hour if she winds it like that.
That's right. Coach Tar said that she can touch 70, and she's just so competitive as well. You love to see that fire, especially from the underclassmen.
I love that she came in from right field. I don't know if we caught it before we went to break, and her first pitch was a baseball pitch, just lined up and chucked it into Emma Helm, who's catching this game for Washington. Nice job by Helm to keep that one in front of her with Huff down at third.
Yeah, with that velocity coming from Willis too, anything that bounces and moves in a weird direction, it's going to get past you quick. So Helm got to have her head on a swivel, be ready to drop to her knees if she has to and become a wall back there.
So 3-0 to Montana-Dixon. Still no outs in this second inning. And Dixon takes strike one.
Yeah, I can hear some grunting from Willis, too.
I like it. I've heard great things about this freshman out of Norco High School down in Southern California coming into this weekend. I was really looking forward to seeing her in action. Here's the 3-1. That one misses, so runners on the corners. No outs for Christina Inoue.
Good job by Dixon not to be a little too over-anxious there with the new pitcher.
It looks like Coach Al may be making a change of some kind. Always foot on the gas.
Always.
And we will have a change. A pinch runner for Montana-Dixon. Emily Klingeman will take over for Montana. And we see Brooke Nelson starting to get loose in the Washington bullpen. So the junior out of Vienna, Virginia, did not play due to injury last year after starting all 53 games at second baseman as a true freshman back in 2019. Good to see Emily healthy again. Over at first, Huff at third, no outs. Inoue batting. Again, a lot of defensive substitutions in this game. Game 3 of our 4-game weekend here on the farm. This is the non-conference game of the 3 games. Pardon me, 4 games. Oh, pretty off speed that time from Willis. Whew.
That's a nice changeup. She can work that in a little bit more. That's going to be effective, too, against these Cardinal hitters. Might get a little taste of their own medicine with what Elena Votter was dealing last game.
Yeah, she leaned on that change. It was filthy, as you called it. The 1-1 from Willis. Yeah, hear that gruntiness. Klingeman will take second. Helm waited to throw down. Sis Bates cutting it off well before it got to second base. So now a couple of runners in scoring position. No outs for Christina Inoue.
Yeah, you take a look at that again. Slight delay there for Klingeman. You want to draw the throw in that case, because if it's a bad throw, then you have that opportunity to score.
2-1 goes off speed again. And that one is in there. Had to wait a while. But Fred put up the strike sound, so 2-2. Up at third, Klingeman at second. Here's the 2-2. Swings and misses, got her. 1 out for Willis and the Dogs.
A little late on that swing. That's the thing when you bring in that new pitcher. You got to get the timing down. And see, she goes downstairs on this one. Good velocity. She can mix that velocity, taking off with that changeup. Gonna be solid.
Back to the top of the Stanford lineup. Tegan Cowles swings and misses strike 1.
A little late on that pitch, too. So this is something that Stanford's got to adjust to. And you want to do that even when you're on deck, too. So in this case, like Gindelsberger taking a look here. She's seen a couple batters here against Willis. Got to get that timing down.
Bounces this one. Sis Bates will get there, but a run will score. 3-0 Stanford here in the second.
Productive out, intelligent out by Cowles. That's what you got to do. Put the ball on the ground. Let the speed work for you on the base pass. I mean, Sis Bates, it's a great job. She actually charged that without any hesitation. Pretty good play, but the only play that she had. So just well placed there by Tegan Cowles. Almost like a slapper in a way, but just from the right side.
Great job by the super senior. Plating another run, so 3-0, 2 down now. Here's Gindelsberger. Walked in her first at bat. Scored on the Sparakis double. First run of this game for Stanford. They've added 2 more. Here's the 1-0. You can hear that, I think, pretty loud and clear. Love the grunt as Willis lets it go. Helm will go out, have a word.
I've never been much for grunting except for when it's authentic, because you want to make sure you're breathing well as a pitcher, right? Like you want to inhale and exhale when appropriate. When you're releasing that ball, that's when that exhale is happening. Breath is so important. And so if that's kind of what's coming out when she's doing that, hey, she's got a lot of velocity. Feels pretty authentic to me.
Right there with you. Behind in the cast, see if she can get back into it. Does right there, strike one.
She comes really far out in front of the pitcher's plate as well, like in front of the circle. She's got so much momentum going towards home plate.
Checks the runner at third. Emily Klingerman. 2 down. Goes off speed. Got strike 2.
Little smile from Gendelsberger there. She thought about it.
Oh, sometimes all you can do is smile, right? Here's the 2-2. Swings and misses. So a couple of strikeouts for Willis. Stanford with a 3-0 lead as we head to the third.
Building for Stanford. Washington, that's a tough loss for many reasons. I mean, now they know they're in second place. UCLA has clinched the title for the Pac-12. You think there'd be a little chip on their shoulder, right? Want to come out with a vengeance.
We just wrapped things up in the circle. Took over in relief for Kelly Lynch. Did Sarah Willis, and now right into the batter's box.
I feel like the game always knows, right? When you do something well on the defensive side, like she did with a couple of strikeouts, then you come up to bat that next half inning. It just always seems to know.
You can just feel the energy exuding from number 66 down the right field line. Foul ball. But this was something that caught up with Washington friend Elise Woodward, who calls a lot of the games up there for us here on the Pac-12 network in Washington, and said, tell me about number 66. And she said, oh, you're going to be so excited to see her in person. She's just a ball of energy. She's going to be a star here in the Pac-12 conference. Dwyer in there again. Strike 2.
I love that, though. You got to have that energy. And sometimes if things kind of feel a little bit flat, like maybe they do right now for Washington, you have to be able to do that internally. You got to fake it till you make it to a certain degree, or just push yourself to build that energy.
1-2 from Dwyer. Willis fouls it off.
Yeah, we've seen a few of those back into the leg.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Yeah, but that's, I think, a testament to some of the great spin and the location that a lot of these pitchers on both sides have been doing this weekend.
The 1-2. Fouled up and out of play. Well, Willis has really turned it on here. It's her first ever Pac-12 campaign. Again, just a true freshman. Winds to a close. Had a 6-game hit streak going then. Just came to an end on Sunday, senior day up on Montlake against Utah. And 6-game hit streak, 5 extra base hits in that span. Off speed from Dwyer. Did she go? We'll look down the first base line, and Jerry McGuire says no.
That's the right call in this situation. She holds that barrel back just enough. She's laughing too, because she thought about it too.
Almost got me, Dwyer. I see you. Woo. Look out, JT. Oh, look out, Gary down there too. I think that's Gary over at first. Yeah, Gary, be careful. Woo. You know, during softball season, we always usually lose a few cameras, Jenna. I'm going to knock on wood. Hope that doesn't happen this season. Not camera men or women, cameras. Willis bounces that one deep into the hole. Going to be a tough play. And Emily Young makes it. Great stretch as well from Sparakis over there at first.
Great job on both sides of that. Those plays are tough. A few bounces in there too. She didn't have much time. She had to get rid of that super quick. Get that weight on the back leg, use it all to get it over there. I love the splits over there by Sparakis too.
She even have a grip on this ball. Looks like she was struggling to even get it out of her glove there.
That's tough. That transfer from glove to hand. Sometimes you just got to get rid of it.
I would say one of the most maybe underrated shortstops here in the Pac-12 because we got so many really well-known good ones, right? Bree Perez, Sis Bates. I mean, you get to the Women's College World Series, you get a little more pub, people start to know about you a little more, but Young's so consistent as well. First look at the grad student out of Redmond, Washington this weekend, Kaya Gibson. Typically pinch hits or pinch runs for the Dogs. Got the start in center field last Sunday on senior day and had a good one. 1 for 3, drove in a pair in the win over the Utes. That's what Heather Tarr told us, right? Logjam. Probably everybody that's on the bench at Washington, like so many of our top 10 schools here in the Pac-12, would easily be starters at a majority of other programs in the country.
That's just the level of the Pac-12 and then the expanded rosters.
Gibson into right field, right off the S, and she's going to dig for second. We'll have a play, and she is in there. Kaya Gibson with a double here in the third.
Just solid. Got perfectly on plane with that pitch. Timing was on point. Heck of a throw from Tegan Cowles in that effort. Yeah, it's over the middle of the plate there. She does exactly what you should do with it. You could hear it off the bat.
Turned on it, and she was gone. Second double of the season for the grad students. And now back to the top of the Dog lineup. Here's Sis Bates. Anybody who's been paying attention to these series this season knows that these game threes of the weekend, the non-cons, can get pretty fun, get pretty interesting. Bates to center field, but the wind will blow this one down. Gindelsberger quickly to third base. Good call not to run on that arm. Gibson, a little head nod over to Heather Tarr. Yeah, right call, coach. Thanks for holding me.
Well, and that one off the bat looked like it was going to be a little bit deeper. Slight breeze we got going, so Gindelsberger's running in for it, but just a textbook one hopper over to third. A lot of strong arms in the outfield for this Cardinal club.
Speaking of strength, Bailey Klingler almost knocked one out in our last game. So runner on second, 2 down for the junior. Klingler, first pitch in the left, and again, the wind will knock it down right into the glove of Emily Schultz. So Stanford holding on to that 3-0 lead. They're coming to bat.
The Jolly Rancher over third base.
That's right.
Got the glasses going too. Clearly helps her see well.
Kirk Walker flipping the Jolly Rancher into the air. Third base coach for UCLA for a long time. So let's take a look at our Pac-12 standings. So regardless now of how Washington does, UCLA clinches, as you saw, their 11th Pac-12 title, but still a lot more for everybody else to play for. I mean, Stanford, I imagine, would now be a lock for the postseason after getting yet another win over a ranked team. But I'm looking at Oregon State. I hope that the Beavers get some consideration because, as we talked about earlier, Mariah Maison and Laura Berg and the Beavers, again, just like we've talked about with Stanford, so many of their games, because a lot of their non-conference schedule against these top 13 teams like Washington and UCLA, Arizona State has given them maybe a lesser record than they would have any other year. They are a really good team.
When we talk about how competitive Pac-12 play is and the fact that there's 4 games per weekend instead of just 3, some of these teams played each other even in the preseason, which you don't normally see. Yep. So sometimes you're playing them 6 times in a season, which you're not used to. So it's just so competitive.
Well, you don't want to face Oregon 6 times in a season? Come on. Here is the bat that put game 1 today away for the Stanford Cardinal and Lenny Sparakis. That had to be pretty darn cool. I mean, we saw the emotion from her. We've shown the replay a couple of times, but again, this is her first and only season for Stanford. She was at Santa Clara for 4 years and was the shortstop there. Although she looks like a really natural first baseman here, stretching out, making plays over at first, but you know, no rivalry series with Cal this year because it got canceled because of COVID trouble over in Berkeley. So this is like the big weekend for her, the big senior weekend, wrapping up against the number 5 team in the country. So to get to do that, seems pretty excited about it.
It's super special. I mean, clearly she loves the Bay Area. She's from here, just went 15 miles north maybe from Santa Clara to Stanford. She's comfortable here. She's been successful here in this area. Yeah, there's her number 2. She crossed home plate and then basically got to cross her number over behind home plate after that huge hit too. Just very cool.
Pretty darn cool. Sarah Willis, the true freshman, in the circle, took over for Kelly Lynch, who started this game, and Sparakis will take the walk. As we take a look at that great swing from our opener today.
Just absolutely crushed that ball. It was too much over the plate, belt high. Sparakis says, I got it. I'm all over it. Another 2-bagger for her.
And that was actually her RBI base knock that got the scoring started in this game. An RBI double following up that 2-run shot in our first game today. So picking up where she left off from the first game. 2-run shots, an RBI double, and now a walk. Let's see if the freshman Ali Kaneshiro from Santa Clarita, California, can get going here for the Card. 0 for 3 with a strikeout in the first game today against Gabby Plain. Willis bounces that one. Sparakis takes off, and she will slide in safely.
Not only have I been impressed with, obviously, the speed that we've seen from Stanford on the base passes, but the reads have been just spot on. I mean, she sees it immediately that doesn't get quite in her glove. Gets slightly past, not even all the way past, but just to the left of Helm, and she's taken off right away.
So Lance Glasso will go out and have a conversation with his freshman pitcher, and as he does, Cody thanked our camera operators. Just like to thank the rest of the crew, because this is a very long day. Jenna and I are the lucky ones who get to get here, you know, an hour and a half before the broadcast, take off right after. But our crew, Isaiah and Jerry and Becky on graphics, great work, everybody. Our tape operators, Tim and Kendrick, Chris, Grant, and Alina doing our audio, Matt in master control, and our TD, our technical director, Brian, and Jason and Mauricio, our producer and director. Appreciate all of you who are doing work in our truck here on the farm and also back in the studio in San Francisco. It takes a village, everybody. Jen and I do the easy part, the glamorous part. But can't do it without our entire crew, and they do the heavy lifting. Stanford doing some heavy lifting so far today. It's been a great Friday. 4-1. Took game 1, have a 3-0 lead here in the second. Got a runner on second, no outs. Here's the 2-1 to Ali Kaneshiro. Takes a high strike that time. Strike 2.
And just improvement from day 1 to day 2. You know, they didn't get any runs across, couldn't string it together yesterday. They've already got 7 runs on the day against the number 5 team in the country. Like, that is how you make adjustments, and that's how you just build it from within. You know, you got to have that energy from within yourself and just take it one at bat at a time.
2-2 from Willis. She goes off speed. Kaneshiro bounces it to third. Nice job by Espinoza to look Sparakis back and then get the out at first.
Espinoza's had plenty of time at third base throughout her career, but, you know, getting a little bit back in a rhythm here this weekend in particular, and that ball's not that easy to play. You got to attack that ball. You don't let the ball play you, you play the ball, and that was a pretty solid job of doing that.
So 1 out, Sparakis down at second. Here is Emily Young, who has had a great Friday her own. First pitch up the middle, off the glove, assist Bates, and here comes Sparakis, and it is 4-0 Stanford.
Well, it took a little longer last game, but only 3 innings this time to put 4 up against the Dogs. Good things happen when you put the ball in play. That is a tough play for a defensive player to make. To her left, she's having to deal with the base runner going in front of her. Those are tough.
So Young passing the bat to Schultz. This has become a thing so far today. These two have really been in the zone. Yes, misses ball 1.
Yeah, it feels like the Stanford lineup's pairing off a little bit. You have Gendelsberger and Sparakis are doing their thing together. The Emily's got something going on.
Glad he picked up on that. Nice job by Helm to glove that. Way outside, ball 2. Jones from Aurora, Illinois, the junior. Started all 26 games at first base last year and moved out to left field with the arrival of Sparakis. Pretty change up that time from Willis. Strike 1.
Yeah, you could tell that is not what Schultz wanted at that point. She actually kind of gave up on it before it even crossed the plate the whole way. She was like, nope, no thanks.
2-1, that was the pitch she wanted. And Young's digging for third. Here's the throw. She's in there. The Emilys continue to connect. Runners at the corners, just 1 out. As Stanford looks to add on here in the 3rd.
Schultz is really getting a rhythm here. Just crushes that one. Great job of turning on it, poking it through the infield. Perfectly placed through that 3-4 hole. And how you like that speed from Emily Young.
I'm telling you, underrated here in the Pac-12. And it looks like that will do it for Sarah Willis. So the new pitcher for the Washington Huskies, number 4, Brooke Nelson, taking over for Sarah Willis, who took over for starter Kelly Lynch, sophomore out of Bonnie Lake, Washington.
Yeah, the only pitcher we have left to see that's gotten time so far this season for Washington is Pat Moore. Brooke Nelson is now number 4 that we've seen so far in this series. Only had seen Gabby playing up into this game, and now we have our 3rd pitcher of the evening.
Nelson 5-0 in her Washington career with a 4.57 ERA. Is our home plate umpire. Fred Barker will step aside. Coach Allister wanting to have a word. And we have a running substitution down at first. Caitlin Lim, good to see you again. Has been a defensive substitution, a pinch runner. She's been all over the place the first 2.5 games now of the series. And also a new catcher for the Washington Huskies. Jen Cummings, the freshman out of Redmond, Washington. And again, this is what we've seen in these 3rd games. Again, this is the non-conference game of the weekend. So a lot more players see in action in this 3rd game. Nelson's first pitch misses outside, ball 1.
And it makes sense because, you know, depth is only great if you let it be great, so you have to try things. You have to give people those reps. This is an opportunity to be able to do that.
Sophomore Sydney Huff batting for the Cardinal. And that base knockback in the 2nd inning that brought Schultz in. And already Cummings and Nelson just having a quick conversation, getting on the same page.
Makes sense. Totally different battery than we saw earlier. I think that's heads up by Cummings to take that initiative.
Nelson, the Washington Gatorade Player of the Year. 3A State Player of the Year up in Washington a couple of years ago at Bonnie Lake High School. Huff turns on that one. Going to be a tough play for Sis Bates. And is not able to get it to her second baseman. Another run crosses the plate for Stanford. And Caitlin Lim over to third. 5-0 Cardinal.
Stanford keeps continuing to put the ball in play, and things are happening because of it. I mean, it looked like the throw might have been there in time. It would have been close. But again, you're putting pressure on the defense when you put the ball in play, when you run hard, you're aggressive. You have to make them make those plays.
So Lim down at third, Huff at first, and Lim's coming in. And I think that one's going to count. No foul. And it will. So Stanford adding on here. Caitlin Lim touches home. 6-0 Stanford.
Yeah, she wasn't too sure, hesitated for a second, but good thing she kept going. That one was hard to read if you take a look. Looked like it was maybe going to be a squeeze there, but just heads up running. And of course, the advancing over to second base too by Huff.
Take one more look at this one.
Yeah, it just bounces right off of her.
And it did look like she was coming. She was halfway down that third baseline.
So maybe not exactly how a squeeze is supposed to go, but they'll take it.
Dixon does foul that one off. So 0-2 the count to the super senior Montana Dixon. Has caught all the games so far this weekend for the Cardinal. My knees hurt just thinking about that. Nelson's 0-2. Dixon fouls it off.
And she's not one to take very many games off. We've seen it a little bit. Kaneshiro, also a catcher, so she's gotten some time back there. Again, got to get those reps in. You know, Dixon has been such a solid, consistent force behind the plate, but this is her last year. You know, they got to get ready for the seasons to come.
183 games started in her Stanford career out of the 203 she's played. So yeah, not many days off for old number 12. And what a great Stanford career it has been. Looking forward to celebrating these seniors tomorrow here on Senior Day. Dixon fouls it off again. 3 o'clock first pitch here on the Pac-12 Network. And I believe they're bringing back a couple of seniors who should have had their senior ceremony last year, decided that they were done being student athletes, understandably wanted to move on with things, but we're going to see a couple more, right, tomorrow?
Hey, well, Hannah Howell and Kiana Pansino.
See, I told you the wind picked up.
Yeah, you see some of their cutouts there. They've been in the stands, too, today. We've actually had them on camera a couple times.
Dixon right back up the middle, and this should score Huff. 7-0. The route is on. All
throughout the order of this Stanford lineup is contributing to this ball game. You love to see that. 1 through 9, giving something to this ball club. This is the exact thing that they were looking for, and building that momentum from game 1 today to game 2. You look at that, just a nice, quick, compact swing. Right back up the middle. Run's gonna score from second base all day long if they keep doing that. Get them on base, move them over, bring them in. That's the recipe to success.
Well, I'm going to notch this one in the I did not see this coming column.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
I did not see Stanford following up a 4-1 game 1 today win with a 7-0 lead over the number 5 team in the country. And we're just in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
You know, a couple errors by Washington, too. Like, those definitely come back to hurt you later.
A pinch hitter, Kate Cressy. High bounce. Nice work by Nelson to get it over to first. Flores had to reach for that one. Little hairy, but able to get it. So 2 down as Montana Dixon makes her way to second base.
Now at the plate for the Cardinals, number 25.
You don't want to get out, obviously, when you have an opportunity like that. However, moving the runner over, still some production in that, especially when you're now looking at the top of the order again here for Stanford.
Tegan counts. And misses ball one. Gals knocking in a run in her last at bat. Swings and misses, strike one.
Swinging over the top of that inside pitch just a little bit. The key to hitting that pitch.
This is when nobody complains about having to wear a mask right now, when it just blocks a little bit of the wind down here.
Exactly. It's like a scarf for your face.
Exactly. It is a very chilly 58-ish degrees now down here at Stanford. I know all of you in the rest of the country still laughing at us, but you understand if you live out here. Maddie Dwyer pitching with a very comfortable lead, but as we know, these Washington bats can turn things around very quickly. We've seen it in Pac-12 play. We've seen it in postseason play the past number of years.
Well, and Flores in particular, you know, 10 home runs on the season, 344 batting average. She's dangerous.
Dixon thought she had that one. Dead ball one. So Caitlin Lim taking over as she has in our previous two games this weekend for Emily Schultz. They've been quite the combination. You combine all their stats. They've accounted for a lot of the hits and a lot of the runs so far this weekend.
That's true. Another pairing that's happened so far in the lineup. But you got Schultz kind of with Emily Young and with Caitlin Lim here, you know. Maybe they're a little trio.
Gonna need more effort out of that trio that we just had on camera. It's kind of a lackadaisical fielding effort by our fans down the first base line. Come on, guys. Here's the 1-2 to Flores. That one popped up and out of play. Heads up, everybody. Flores, the 2020 Johnny Bench Award winner, the first ever Husky to win that. It goes to the best catcher in college softball. Second team All-American back in 2019, the first UW catcher to win that honor, to achieve that honor since back in 2005. So she has been pretty incredible for Washington these last 5+ years.
Yeah, a little more context to another recent winner of that award, Deja Malipula, an Olympian at U of A.
I'd say that's very good perspective. Thank you for that, Jen.
Just for scale.
Cannot wait to have softball back in the Olympics this summer. Why did they ever take it away? We won't know, but all of us softball fans I know are happy that it's back, right, Jenna?
Yeah, we could spend a whole other 2 hours talking about that.
We can do that tomorrow. Here's the 3-2 to Flores. Into right center field, and that one's gonna fall. Morgan Flores. Smart play that time as, again, the speedy outfielders for Stanford able to cut it off before it got to the fence. So Morgan said, I'm just gonna consider that a long single.
And that's a good job of gap-to-gap hitting, right? That's right center field, taking that outside pitch the other way. Nice connection on that one. And good read on the arms. You got to know the strength of the outfielder's arms before every single inning, every at-bat, because that's going to help determine what you're going to do on the base paths as well.
Over 240 games played in her career. Here's Sammy Reynolds. Reynolds flew out in the first. Just looking for her first hit of this series. Careful that time. Almost hit her.
That's a good job of turning into that pitch, because that's what you have to do in those situations. Never want to turn towards the pitcher. That's how you crack a rib.
Dixon will go out and have a word with Dwyer. Got a lot of fans here. You can hear them. Everybody cheering her on.
Yeah, another one of these seniors, and she's a true senior. So she was the only person in her class before COVID happened, before all of the changes with the super seniors and the grad transfer to Eleni Sparakis. So now she's got 5 other people that she gets to share senior day with. So how special is that for number 95?
Here's the 2-0 to Reynolds. Gets into that one to deep left field, and Lim able to keep it in the yard.
Reynolds just missed that pitch. She's got a ton of power. Pretty swing, just got under it. But that's what you got to do if you're Maddie Dwyer. Get him to just miss. Let your defense do its thing. Big hack, just got under it. And that's the thing of softball. It's a game of inches, sometimes a half inch. It's like if that was a half inch, she was a little bit more center ball there. Whew, might have left the yard.
Yeah. And as Heather Tarr told us, doesn't look like much, but you can see why she has 11 home runs and counting on the season. So here's Lily Egan. First time we're getting to see this up-and-comer in the Pac-12 Conference bats, a freshman, true freshman, out of Noonan, Georgia. Took over for Sarah Willis in right field when Willis stepped into the circle to take over for Lynch. Bounce that one back to the screen, strike 2.
Seen her pinch running a lot, and it makes sense when you think about the fact that she also ran track in high school, where she went to high school with Kelly Lynch, as we've talked about a little bit on the broadcast.
Shout out to East Coweta down in Noonan, Georgia. You just wanted me to say it again, didn't you?
Kind of, yeah, if I'm being honest.
Here's the 0-2. This is outside, ball 1. Lily, the leadoff hitter on that back-to-back state championship squad with the aforementioned Kelly Lynch. So she tries to emulate Caitlin Lowe, another legend here in the Pac-12. Bounces that one to Inoue. Head to second, get the lead runner. Flores, 2 down.
Smart heads-up play, knowing the situation beforehand. Also listening to your fellow infielders tell you, hey, you got the play at second, 2-2-2. Nice slick play.
So Egan over at first. Now Jen Cummings, who took over at the catching spot, steps in for her first at bat today. Another true freshman. Redmond High School up in Washington. As you see, hasn't seen very many at bats this season.
Still managed to hit a home run, though.
So decent percentages so far for the young lefty. Won a state title as a freshman at Redmond High School. Was the starting catcher all 4 seasons. Swings and misses. Strike 1.
There's something special about going to school and playing near where you're from. Also, it's just a little bit different. You get to sort of build that second home in your college family right near your first home, your roots. It's just a really special thing to see people do that.
Try to get her to chase the high one. Cummings lays off, 3-1. Brother, a Washington Husky as well.
Even better when it's a family affair, too.
As long as you like your sibling, right?
True. Good point.
Dixon and Dwyer having trouble agreeing on what they want to see here, so they'll have a little conversation. But yeah, you said it just a couple moments ago. First at-bat at Husky Softball Stadium, and Cummings goes yard. That's it. That's a pretty good start to your collegiate career.
Couldn't be better.
3-1, back up the middle, just under the glove of Huff, and Egan digging for third, and she is in easily. So runners on the corners, Dogs looking to put together a little 2-out rally here in the 4th.
Nice piece of hitting. Good effort by Sydney Huff. We've seen her make so many great plays. You almost thought, oh, wow, maybe there'll be another one here in this situation. But great base running in that situation as well from Egan to go from first all the way to third. That's really basically up the middle.
She was gone. No hesitation. So freshmen on the corners. Egan over at third, Cummings at first. Here's the junior Silent Rain Espinoza. Struck out in her first at bat, but made some good contact before it.
Talked about the versatility of the infield for Washington earlier with JT D'Amico about just how many options that they have. And Silent Rain's, we've seen some time at third base this season, but with Klingler kind of moving back and forth between second and third, seen some movement there. But back in 2019, she made the all-freshman team in the Pac-12, earned Freshman of the Week honors, some all-region recognition. She's definitely a great asset for the Dogs to have.
Just continuing to trend in the right direction. Getting over 300 this season. Dwyer in there, strike one.
Speaking of great assets too, Maddie Dwyer. I mean, what great appearances she's had so far against the Huskies. Back in 2019, 91 innings pitched, 3.15 ERA. Really holding her own well here.
It's Espinoza to chase that high one, that time strike two.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, her and Carolyn Lee really held the bulk of the innings back then in the turnaround season. 52 strikeouts back in that season.
Yeah, I remember that was not easy because gritty, good pitchers, I think you can categorize them as, but not to the superstar level of a lot of the pitchers we see, right? Gabby Plain and Rachel Garcia and Megan Faramo.
Well, and those three are the top three in the country,
Exactly.
right there. You just named them. So to be in the same conference with them and have solid appearances and compete says something.
No doubt about that. 2 outs, here's the 2-2. Espinoza skies this one. Emily Young avoids Jen Cummings. Relief in the opener yesterday and held the Dogs to just 1 run in 4 1/3 innings pitched, and now scoreless through 4 so far here.
Really impressive effort so far.
Brooke Nelson, the 3rd pitcher we have seen for Washington in this game. 4th we've seen today. Gabby Plain with the distance in the 4-1 doubleheader opening loss just a little while ago. Gimmelsberger under the glove of Klingler. Thought that was going to be a tough one because she went back as opposed to coming in towards it, right?
Right, that's exactly right. Again, you got to attack the ball as a defense, as an infielder. Her first step was actually sort of backwards. Didn't quite have her balance and her feet set to go after that. Now you got a lot of speed on first base here. We've seen this table setting before.
Yeah. I mean, the alliteration is perfect. Taylor, the table setter, Gindelsberger, but you have to say it really slowly because there's a lot of letters. Sparakis, first pitch. Good play that time from Klingler to get Sparakis at first, but she moves the runner into scoring position. Just 1 out here in the 4th.
That's an adjustment from pitch to pitch right there by Klingler. I mean, great first step for that play. Sees it really well, even with Gindelsberger running in front of her. She reads this hop nicely, gets the feet set in a good position to throw the ball over to first base. That's a good adjustment.
Brooke Nelson, the sophomore in the circle right now for Washington. Kaneshiro fouls off strike 1.
I've been wondering if this is too early to say it, but I'll take this on my shoulders, which is, you know, with the score being 7-0, if Stanford were to score a run here and then hold Washington in the top of the 5th, the game is over.
Because we do have our 8-run rule.
Yes.
Here in college softball. So I think it's important to point out, because this is a big at bat with a runner on second, a very speedy runner. Get a ball onto the outfield grass. That could score run number 8. So here's the 0-1 from Nelson. In there, strike 2. The 0-2. All over that one, just a little too far in front of it.
Yeah, a little bit out in front. Kashiro's due, I think, in this series. She's had a great offensive Pac-12 season overall. The true freshman, Coach Allister's been so impressed with her not even being able to come to campus till February 4th of this year, playing games a couple weeks later. Unreal.
That one away. And I think it's an important thing to point out, Jenna. Washington, luckily, able to get all their freshmen back in the fall, but as we know from what the Stanford women's basketball team had to go through en route to winning their national championship, the softball team did not meet for the first time as a team until February 4th, and then had to play, what, a week later?
Yep, that's exactly right.
None of the freshmen were here in the fall. Here's the 0-2. Gets her swinging that time for out number 2 here in the 4th. But because of that, no fall whatsoever. Less non-conference than you usually play. It makes sense that Stanford here in the middle of May is really starting to find their rhythm.
That's right. They went through some growing pains maybe in April that normally would have went through in February had you had that sort of normal schedule. You seem to be moving in the right direction towards peaking at the right time.
Gimbelsberger taking a big lead out there at second. Emily Young looking to continue to do damage today. She's been huge with the bat, with her glove. Young bounces that one up and over the head of Espinoza, and here comes Gimbelsberger, and she will score. 8-0 Stanford.
Well, Emily Young, but call her Emily Clutch, getting that 8th run coming across. Gimbelsberger using that speed as always, the table setter, and the capitalization by Stanford. The timely hitting has been absolutely key for the Cardinal in this game.
Just a sensational day for the junior. Out of Mason, Ohio, Emily Young.
It's that cheeseburger soup. She must have had it last night.
Started the broadcast yesterday talking about it. I love it when you can continue a theme throughout the weekends. And for those of you who are just joining us, her mom makes great cheeseburger soup. I still don't remember why we started talking about it yesterday, but I appreciate you bringing it back. Here's Caitlin Lynn.
It's a good question. Was it just because we were hungry at the time?
It might have been. And then because of that, I got a burger that was underwhelming on the way home. And then Young just was awesome today, so we've continued talking about cheeseburgers. Sorry, Caitlin Lynn, we'll focus on you now. Into left, and into the glove of Sheely. So 3 outs to get something going here for Washington. If Maddie Dwyer and Stanford can keep this 8-0 score through this inning, that'd be the ball game. They would rule the number 5 team in the country.
Already an achievement to get that win earlier, but to do it twice in the same day, that's a whole nother level.
Stanford took the opener, the conference game in this Day 2 doubleheader of the 4-game series that all the Pac-12 teams agreed to play this year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And now an 8-0 lead. Maddie Dwyer has been in the circle since the first pitch. Swings and misses there from Willis, strike 2.
Swinging out of her shoes. Man, Sarah Willis does not do anything 50%. It's all 110% for her.
I love it. Saw Willis pitch for a little bit earlier before she handed the ball to Brooke Nelson. True freshman. Here's the 1-2. Fouls that one. Up and out of play. And what a senior weekend highlight this would be for the Orange, California native Maddie Dwyer. You hear the Stanford fans cheering her on. The 1-2. Out of play.
Well, it's not making it easy for her so far in this at-bat, staying alive.
She hasn't all weekend and really all season. Batting well over 400. It's not qualifying because she doesn't have enough at-bats just yet. To second. Great play by Huff, 1 out.
Really important out there for Dwyer. It just sets the tone for this inning. You come off the 8th run in the bottom of the 4th, taking that momentum into the defensive side of things. And as usual, a nice slick play there by Sydney Huff.
And that'll bring up the super senior Kaya Gibson. Doubled in her last at bat. Strike 1. Has had success against the Cardinal in her career in addition to that double. Hit her first career triple. Drove in a pair here at Stanford as a sophomore back in 2018. More success in 2019, 3 hits, 3 RBI in 2 games played against the Cardinals. So she likes playing against this club. Dwyer trying to close out what would be her 3rd win of the season. Has only gone the distance once so far this year. Gibson fouls that one down the right field line.
She does close this out here too. I mean, that's a win in terms of, hey, you don't even have to pitch those extra 2 innings to get the win. It's a long day for the players too, doing the doubleheader during Pac-12 season. It's new for everybody. You can get out there a little bit early, take the momentum into tomorrow to try to clinch the series. That's ideal.
The 1-2 from Dwyer. Just misses. Ball 2.
Really important pitch coming up right here.
Huff again, keeps it in front of her, and will smartly just hold on to it. Wasn't able to get a grip on it before she saw Gibson hone it in on first base. Smart play.
That ball was hit pretty hard. Some solid contact there. Right at Huff, but might have had a little bit of top spin on it. It's a break for Washington right now, though, to keep this game going.
And back to the top of the order we go. So we'll have a pinch runner. Gibson did her job. And we've seen her a lot this weekend. Number 2, Megan Vandergrift. Very fast.
Definitely an opportunity for Washington, too. You go from there being 2 outs with potentially no runners on base to, all right, we got less than 2 outs here with somebody on. Now you're back at the top of the order. Again, the little things like that can make a big difference.
Bates grounded out to third base in her first bat. Flew out to center in her second. will single the length this time. Get a couple of runners on. So we start to work our way into the heart of this Washington lineup.
There she is. Sis Bates, really solid power slap in that situation. She's been due as well. Couldn't have come at a better time for the Dogs.
310 career hits and counting for Sis Bates. She pulls within 5 of tying Charters for second on that all-time list. 8 now from Pickering for the all-time lead when it comes to hits on Montlake.
Charters was just an outstanding infielder for Washington too. Coach Heather Tarr said it, you know, Daniel Laurie, rightfully so, gets a lot of credit for that 2009 national championship that they have, but Ashley Charters also a huge contribution from her to make that happen and get the first one in history for the UW.
Charters a great pro too, just like Laurie.
Yeah, very familiar with this coaching staff too. Played for JT in the USSSA Pride, won a Coles Cup.
Yeah. So a quick conversation as they try to prevent the run rule defeat. They put a run on the board, we're still playing. Difference has to be 8 after 5 innings. So Stanford would still have a chance if Washington played some runs here in their half of the 5th. Here's Bailey Klingler. Had a double in the first game today. Still looking for her first hit in this one. Klingler to Huff, to Young for one, and that's the ball game! What a way to end it! A 4-6-3 double play to seal the complete game run rule win for the senior Maddie Dwyer.